Did we just find out who the MVP of the NFL is? Well, it's definitely not coming from Miami. New QB in town, potentially. What's the best team in the NFL? And just maybe you can teach an old quarterback new tricks. It's Martin in Monaco. Haircuts for the both of us. I hope that's not reflective of our winning and losing over the weekend.
Well, I talked about it off air. I knew no 10-win streaks were going to go plural. Just happened to get them mixed up. But thankfully, Tua and the Colt got us right back. So we were able to trim the fro right back from your land of above 6 foot back down to 5'10".
So let's start there. Let's start with the first one because I also cut my hair, but I would have, if I had bet this season, would have taken a bath this weekend. Number one, I would have lost Patriots-Bills. All right, so let's start there because 21-0. And the reason why I framed it as, did we just see who the MVP is because this is now the second time I can remember right now at the top of my head that the Bills had a double-digit halftime deficit, and Josh Allen just put the cape on. He did it week 1 in Baltimore, and he did it right here. I do not think this Bills team is all that good. I don't. I think the Patriots are a better team top to bottom. But I think right now Josh Allen is showing he is the best weapon in the NFL.
Look, does it say more about what you just alluded to, or are we crowning in a completely topsy-turvy one-of-one AFC a team too soon? Now, again, I was thinking maybe the Bo Nix Broncos club might be the team we'd be talking about, maybe overvalued on this Monday morning quarterback here on a Tuesday. But I'm looking at what happened, not just box score and in person. I wasn't the only one on my old school Twitter fingers way too early, Martin, thinking that 21-0 it was wrapped. I could not have been more on the wrong side. Now, Vrabel did come out in the media and say they were the number one Buffalo team when it came to offensive holding penalties in the NFL going into that week. Not going to be that guy, but look, I'm in the betting world. I had a clip that had a lot of opinions on it with that interception turned defensive pass interference, which did, among other things, sway the game. Look, they had 2 penalties in the entire game. Buffalo had 2 penalties on the road in New England. So Vrabel came out and was like, I'm going to say it without saying it. Not really something to just overlook. Number one most penalized team not getting a flag or a blemish that whole game. But all that to say, Josh Allen outplayed him.
Also, too, I get where you're coming from. NFL officiating seems to be especially bad this year. But one of the things that I find to be the fascinating thing about this game, Buffalo can't stop the run to me at all.
True.
I think that the Patriots got a little MVP heavy. As Josh started coming back, they're like, let's see if we can have Drake match. Let's see if we can have Drake match. They only had like 68 yards rushing in the second. I'm sorry, 75 yards rushing in the second half. And one of the plays that they had was a 68-yard run. Do you know what I mean? They went away from the way they got that 21-point lead. Learning lessons for everybody. I still think, though, Josh Allen notwithstanding, this Buffalo roster is subpar. I've stuck on it all season. It's part of the reason why I thought the Ravens were bad, because the Buffalo beat them, right? Josh Allen just is having he is right now what Steph Curry used to be. Like when Steph Curry was in his prime, and there would be a moment at half or a moment maybe with 8 minutes left in the third quarter where it would just be a 16-0 Steph run. And all of a sudden the game would go from a 2-point lead to an 18-point lead, and you might as well sim to end. That's what Josh Allen is when he gets on that stretch.
But talking Buffalo out a little more before we move on, how do you, in a now officially Mahomes playoffs, arguably maybe no Lamar, or at least a limited Lamar banged up playoffs, and all previous contenders in this, even Joe Burrow-less playoffs, they're all out of the way, Martin. No Burrow, no Lamar, no Mahomes. Do we just take this AFC that's completely wide open, and you could sell me on Denver just as much as you could sell me on a long shot Pittsburgh at this point, out of that side, Do we just say this is about one dude with one cape? Oh, by the way, the year he becomes a father. I mean, gee, Steinfeld's family adds a +1 the same week he goes berserk.
Did you guys see him yakking on the sideline during the game?
I just learned he yaks every show.
He says he throws up all the time.
Him and Richard
That's
Pryor,
what he said,
two goats, yakking before every performance.
I heard someone say he's just doing it in solidarity with Haley Steinfeld now that she's pregnant. What a good husband.
But I mean, in all seriousness, though, Martin, is this the year we overlook flaws? A little bit of McDermott not being the guy, a little bit of sus run D, because at the end of the day, to come back in that Patriots game shows us all they're never out of it with 17 under center. And secondarily, we got a couple of sample sizes here going back a few weeks back to the Pittsburgh game, an outdoor game played on the road in the cold, which is very much what they may have to do. And they, with 2 tackles missing, ran it down Pittsburgh's throat. It's like, oh, wow, can they give it to you in a number of different ways? And we're just trying to be what we normally would be in the media, which is calling out a flaw. But this is a completely flawed conference.
So I would say I understand why you would feel that way because we do not have the proof of concept yet. We are looking at these things, and we have not seen them yet. However, the Denver Broncos and the Houston Texans are both, at this point, better than Buffalo. Houston played them straight up, and you saw domination along the offensive, the front, and the front. Houston played them straight up, and you saw domination on the offensive front, right? They could not block them, and then you saw Josh run into 4 more sacks, right? Denver is the only team in the NFL that I could think of that has a defensive player of the year on the roster and has another guy who could win defensive player of the year. Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the only team that is like that. They have 2 defensive MVPs. Surtain already won it. He's still playing at the top of his level. Benito, I don't know the odds off the top of my head, but he's not, if I'll put it like this, he's top 6 and not 6 in the defensive player of the year odds. He's got to be.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it a AFC, last question, is it, you mentioned Curry. It's if we're talking on an NBA Cup Finals Tuesday, that this could be one player in the NBA going berserk or a la Josh Allen, or is it the best team that we're going to wrap our arms around? Because honestly, we're kind of sitting here as we get closer to January, only a couple of weeks left going, all right, it might be Josh Allen versus a Broncos unit, a Patriots unit, a Texans unit, but he's still the best player. I guess, are we back in a team or are we back in the best player?
I told myself after the Super Bowl, I'm not doing that again. When I see a team 53 up and down that is better than the one on the other side, I'm sorry, that's where I have to go, right? I have to go. I'm going in the AFC. I'm going with the Denver Broncos. That's who I think is going to go ahead and win this thing. Sean Payton's already got a Super Bowl. But to the point, here's the real question, and we'll get to it right now. The Denver Broncos or the Los Angeles Rams. You got 2 Super Bowl winning head coaches, Super Bowl multiple-time conference championship goers, right? In turn, not necessarily winners, but goers, right? But these guys have real playoff skins on the wall in terms of Sean Payton and Sean McVay. They also share a first name. And they couldn't be any different at quarterback. And Matthew Stafford, who is like the engine at 37 years old, and Bo Nix, who is along for the ride at 22 years old. Which one of these 2 teams, both with fierce defenses, do you think is the best one in the NFL? Or is there a third one that you have?
Well, if I got to back one team right now, I just cannot back the underclassmen. I got to back the guy who's been there and done it, and the tandem that's been there and done it. Bo Nix, we've seen a lot of different takes. I'll keep it nameless in the stratosphere. Is he even the guy? Is he not the guy? The fascinating thing with a Drake May and a Bo Nix, they could not have more support. It's almost hard to even see.
Inside the building, absolutely.
Everywhere, too. I mean, geez, Patriots, stifling defense, coached up squad, offensive line, unbelievable in Denver. Unbelievable, you just alluded to. Bonita and Surtain. It goes on and on. So I look at the Rams, I mean, geez, they almost have 200. They got 400, Martin, and 20 points, 261 against. I mean, geez, that's one. What is that? Quick noggin, almost 160 points more scored. They've dominated a number of different settings. I'm nervous because he is an older dude if he's got to go on the road. This Thursday night game that they better win if they want to run the table, it's everything. It's enormous. I do see a world where I guess from a mile-high home field standpoint, you could make a case. I still can't get out of my head. Buffalo hosting Denver in the first year of Bo Nix, and it was about whether they're going to cover or not whether or not Denver was going to win. Maybe it's a different team. I find it hard to say. You go from welcome to the tournament, wild card Denver, the very next year, the team to beat. I can't do it, man. How many times in the fourth quarter is he going to pull a rabbit out of a hat? I'd rather back the adult who, again, version 1.0, last thing I'll say, Stafford turned the ball over in dysfunction in Detroit. Can't trust him. He's been impeccable with the pen and impeccable with everything. On the offensive side, the pass D is worth talking out, but this could be a thing, man, where they have so many weapons. I'll take the better O versus the better D, and I'll have to answer Rams. What say you?
Yeah, I'm on the flip side of it because in this league this year, you only have, when you consider like the teams you're going to run into on the way to the Super Bowl championship, right? Like you said, Mahomes is out of there. Lamar is on his last leg, literally, and maybe it'll be Josh Allen, potentially, right? I'm not ruling that one out. But in the world where all of the superhuman quarterbacks are sidelined, give me the best defense. And I get that Stafford is up there, but he's 37 years old. He still can spin it, but at 37 years old, I wonder how much of his ability to fix plays that are wrong, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you saw Phillip Rivers able to throw the ball to the guy who's open, and Stafford is obviously way better than Phillip Rivers. Neither one of those guys are escaping anything that goes wrong. Bo Nix has the ability to, when if it's not there down the field, to still make positive plays in the postseason. I think that matters that much more. One guy who absolutely doesn't have the ability to do this, we saw it on display last night in the cold, Tua Tagovailoa. Mike McDaniel says, sounds like he's had enough. His post-game press conference, he said, I don't want to do anything rash. So then he went and slept on it. First answer today, QB play wasn't good enough yesterday. We're going to evaluate everything. Second answer today, we're preparing for the Cincinnati Bengals. Whatever quarterback we think gives us the best chance to win will be the guy who's out there. So, I would just say this. The Miami Dolphins have a potential out in Tua Tagovailoa's contract in 2027. I think the odds, put it to you like, what would you set the odds, Alex, that Tua Tagovailoa is taking a week 1 snap next season for the Miami Dolphins?
If there's an out in the contract.
Now the out is year after next, 2027.
Well,
2027, 28.
So if they're locked in for over 50 next year then with him?
They're locked in next year.
Woo! I think it's going to be a fluctuating market in short at the moment. I think what they're saying is maybe we'll next 3 weeks here have a little bit of an internal, as we saw from preseason, Quinn Ewers, maybe, let's get a little Costco sample. Let's see if this dude can ball not in August and in December, and then maybe go from there. I mean, are they in a scenario where maybe they could trade Tua somewhere? It's really tough to put a number on. I guess I'm not a Tua believer at all. It'd be one thing if he brought a Dak Prescott energy to the podium, to the huddle, to every other intangible of the quarterback. He doesn't even seem like good energy anymore. I thought this was a good vibes guy. This dude is taking shots at teammates, throwing strays on the podium. I could keep going. I think McDaniel is trying to save himself. So he's going to basically let management know, hey, I can cook up a system and move the football with a number of dudes. 5'11" over here. Maybe you move off of him before you move off of me. I mean, where are you at?
He's done.
He can't
I don't think
play
he will
in the
take
cold, man. It's not even. I'm not even.
I don't
trying
think
to be
he
funny.
will play Sunday. I don't think he'll play Sunday. Like I think it's over for Tua in Miami. Like it's worth looking for where will Tua play next year should he choose to continue playing. What quarterback-starved organization is going to convince themselves that half of a season of good quarterback play, because you only get Tua for half of the year because after Thanksgiving it's frozen outside and he's done. How am I going to, like, which organization will fool themselves into that, right? Because if I'm Mike McDaniel, I think he's already got a lease on life. They fired the GM who gave Tua the extension. Now, if you go back and look at Miami's win streak, Tua has not thrown for over 180 yards in a win this season.
Yeah, they put him on a pitch count.
It's all about it is running the ball. I looked at his attempts. He hasn't attempted over 21 passes in a win this season, okay?
Insane.
That all means to me one thing. They want to take the ball out of his hands as much as possible. And if that's the problem with your quarterback, that's not going to work. People saying Quinn Ewers, I don't know, man. I would look around at the Baker Mayfield of the world, the Sam Darnold of the world, and I would say maybe Zach Wilson got a little bit more than he did in his second organization. Because, look, if I'm going to turn around and hand the ball off 35 times, I just need you to not mess up and have a little bit of arm strength.
Oh, you sold me on Zach Wilson, dude.
Now, if I had told you a year and a half ago today that Sam Darnold had potential to be the winningest quarterback in the NFL over the last 2 seasons, you would have told me I was crazy. That's or I'm Colin Cowherd.
That's true. I just he doesn't he's again, when you look like an actor playing a quarterback and not a quarterback, that's a little nerve-wracking when you're telling me you want to play within the lines or at least play within a scheme or a style and not blow it. This dude looks like he did whatever he wanted at BYU, and once he was under a little bit of infrastructure, he couldn't handle it.
Well, here's the thing. A little bit. We've seen the Jets ruin a whole bunch of people. We saw how it was. I'm just saying we've seen it. Like
Ian, you want to weigh in on it? This is your team, man. You think Zach can work in the 305?
The Dolphins are not my team. The Jets.
No, that's
Jets
what I'm saying. I meant the Jets. You had him. You saw him. Do you think he's going to go anywhere?
I don't know. I just don't think he has it between the ears aspect of playing the position, because it's such a cerebral position, the quarterback position. He just I don't think he has it, and I've seen a lot of Zach Wilson football. But I get what you're saying. He's a reclamation project. If you're just last few games of the season, why not just throw a dart? Because you're out of the playoffs. Like, why not just check and see?
If I'm McDaniel, this is what I tell ownership. This guy clearly has arm talent, right? Mm-hmm. That's what we're lacking in this offense is arm talent.
It's true.
Tua can't throw the ball. He can't throw the ball farther than 35
He's
yards.
The lefty
in the cold.
Chad Pennington.
Yeah, so we know that Zach has arm talent. If we run him through these next 3 games, and maybe we get him on a, that one of those free agent type of deals, run him out for the next 17. If he's good, then we Baker Mayfield him, Sam Darnold him. If he's bad, then we just draft the next guy at the top of the class, because these guys coming out right now are not going to be first-round picks. Or you draft, somebody in the second round, third round, whatever, to play behind him. But I just thinking you have a veteran quarterback right there who his tangibles were enough that people felt high enough to draft him early. Like Tua, I get it's the same kind of thing, but it wasn't because of his physical abilities that people felt that way.
Is Tua starting? If he's let go of the Dolphins, is he starting in the NFL on another team, or will he forever be a backup quarterback?
I think Tua's a backup.
There's not many jobs open.
I think someone tricks themselves into starting him next year.
Really?
As a guy who's totally. Why? That's not some crazy take. Look around the league at the guys like Justin Fields was starting this year, and this is still Tua's first team he's on. He would get a second chance on another team, regardless. I don't think it would work. I'm just saying.
Well, it's like, do you take on his contract though? I guess you'd have to get on that NBA.
It would be in 2027, but I just don't know. Before we move on here, I just don't know if this is the off season to move off of Tua. Martin and I were talking about this pre-show. Just look around the league. There just aren't many good quarterbacks available right now.
But
guys
what if
Martin's
onto something, and Zach maybe could do it? Because the only pushback on Zach and Mike is, again, it's a little Mike and Dave need wedding dates. It's a little like fun guy and fun guy. Our fun guy's going to win ball games. I don't know, man. It's a lot of smiling at practice.
Look, Tua was there before McDaniel, and so that's something to keep in mind here. Like to Martin's point about them keeping McDaniel over Tua. Tua was there beforehand.
Oh, because it wasn't Mike's guy.
Hasn't had a chance to draft his guy, exactly. But we got to move on.
So, yeah, we can move on. But you're going Wilson over Ewers if you're replacing him this Sunday?
I would as well, yeah.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers, to me, you want to talk about a guy who will be coaching high school football in the next few years.
Was he not cooking in preseason? Am I tripping?
He was, but that's because he was playing. The preseason, he was playing against other guys who will soon be coaching high school football. That's the difference. He's playing fourth quarter preseason minutes, bro. You're playing against personal trainers and wide receiver coaches, or maybe the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. Because apparently Phillip Rivers is showing me that I think this one thing is true. I'm no longer hearing arguments for quarterback is the hardest position to play in sports. No longer hearing arguments. Because if you can walk off the field and 5 years later, after 3 days of practice, come on and have what I would call not the worst performance I have seen in the NFL this year at quarterback, it can't be that hard. That's my take.
Martin, it was probably the biggest gift Vegas has given on a mispriced line I've ever seen. It was almost a 2-touchdown spread. This was hammered on the program all the way up until it was under 6.5. I go, they're going to win this freaking game. It is a boost up. Everyone got that grown man strength. Everybody. I was such an unbelievable uptick of energy, and the only way they could have done it is done something like this. But I don't think, let's call it what it is, 2025 football. Would Rivers have said this about 2015 football, 2005 football? I just think it's such a league that protects a quarterback. And again, Steichen was smart. A lot of shotgun, a lot of even handing off from the shotgun. You go quick decisions from the pocket without getting into the weeds here. You're not going to put yourself in situations where you're getting laid out like a dual threat quarterback would if they left the pocket. But if we're going to sit here and rule out the Colts completely on at least being competitive, I think we're tripping. This is a true roster that has a defense that could keep you in the game and a lot of high football IQ minds in that quarterback room from what we saw at least on round one.
If you think that's tripping, then tie my shoes together. No way. They are done, bro. They're done.
But if they're competing against the Seahawks, I just said competitive. I don't think they're going to get blown out here or there.
You know the last time – look, okay, competitive, sure. I just don't buy. I thought that line – I get why you said that line was mispriced. And this strategy will work for 60 minutes. But as soon as he gets hit, like you go back and watch his attempts.
Sure.
As soon as he gets hit, it's like really hit, it's a wrap. He fell down in the middle of a drop back. He fell down in the middle of a drop back and just fell down.
I know.
The only reason it was not the worst performance we have seen in the NFL thus far this season is because, to his credit, he didn't take a single sack, and not to his credit, Brady Cook has been playing football for 8 quarters. Like, that's it. That's it. If he was anybody else, we would be telling the truth about this. Just the same way that if Jeff Saturday didn't work at ESPN and he was anybody else, we would have told the truth about how that worked. They won a game in that fiasco as well. Phillip Rivers can't throw the ball longer than 25 yards in the air. So as long as they can run the ball and hand it off and dink and dunk and dink and duck, sure, they'll be competitive. But as soon as it becomes I don't hate the fact that Seattle was a 14-point favorite because as soon as you get a 6-point lead on this team, you're never looking back.
Is there any world with 2 of their 3 remaining games, and I assume they probably won't, I think it's a Monday night game, will win against San Francisco? I think they're 6.5-point home dogs. It's tasty again, but I'll probably leave it alone. And they got Jacksonville and they got Houston, Martin, at the end of the season. Those two teams vying for an AFC South pennant. Any chance they play spoiler? With now nothing to lose, but just bucking the current in the division. If we're going to set an over-under of Phillip Rivers half a victory, I'm taking over at plus money, my man.
I am smashing the under, and I'm laughing at all of you. I am smashing the under and laughing at all of you.
Okay, we're about to play a game of Who You Got here, guys. So how this works, I've got a series of 10 clues trying to describe a NFL player. It's someone from the NFL. He could have played at any point in history. He could be currently playing. It's just someone having to do with the NFL. And I have 10 clues here for you that will hopefully each one makes it a little easier to help narrow down who it is. And by the 10th clue, you should know who it is. The 10th clue actually just gives it away. So,
all right, let's go.
Here we go. First clue. This guy was a first-round draft pick coming out of college. So based off just that, any guesses? There's no strikes in this game.
Ricky Williams.
Not Ricky Williams.
Dan Marino.
Not Dan Marino. Next clue, he played college football at 2 different schools.
Bo Nix.
First round pick, college football, 2 different schools. He picked
Not Bo Nix. That's a good guess, but not Bo Nix. Not Michael Penix either. Both good guesses, but nope, both wrong. Next clue. He won multiple state titles in track and field when he was in high school.
First round pick, college football transfer, multiple state titles in track and field. I'll go Larry Fitzgerald.
Not Larry Fitzgerald.
Oh, man. Did Jalen Hurts go in the first round? Jalen Hurts?
He was
second.
Not Jalen Hurts, and yeah, he was a second-round pick. Next clue. I told you he played he played college football at 2 different schools, but he played multiple years at Ohio State.
Ohio State, first round pick, college football transfer, multiple track and field.
Ted Ginn's coming to mind, but I don't think that's the answer.
It's not Ted Ginn. That's not a bad guess, but not Ted Ginn.
Joe Burrow.
Not Joe Burrow either. Next clue. He has served an NFL suspension of 4 games at some point in his career.
Maurice Claret?
No.
Nah, he never transferred.
I know, the
Went to
transfer
Ohio
thing
State.
makes it so fickle.
Played at 2 schools.
First round draft pick.
And if you had a 4-game suspension, I'm imagining that's for PEDs.
You want your next clue, or do you want to guess?
No, David Boston did not transfer, but anyway, go for it.
No, not David Boston. Next clue. He played his final year of college at Alabama.
Oh, I know who this is. I know exactly who this is.
Do you?
Yeah, it's Jameson Williams.
It's Jameson Williams, that's correct. Nice job. There you go. Okay, so you got it in 6 clues.
Why can't I remember
clues.
Jameson Williams as a Buckeye?
Yeah, he was there for a couple years. I remember him catching a deep bomb touchdown from Justin Fields in the playoffs at one point, and then he transferred.
Jameson Williams?
Went to Alabama, and a fun fact, he actually, I think it was he broke the Alabama school record for the number of 70-plus yard touchdowns he scored in a season. He had 4 that year. So the remaining clues. Oh, sorry.
Man.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that wide receiver room was J-Mo, Marvin Harrison Jr., Olave,
McLaurin?
You know, I don't
Tate?
know it. I don't know if Marv was there yet. He might have been a freshman. Carnell Tate was not there yet.
Okay.
It was Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jackson
okay.
Smith, and Jigba.
That's JSN.
Marvin,
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, Marvin might have been there as a freshman at the time. But yeah, Jameson Williams there too.
Wide receiver.
Outrageous.
So like J-Mo left because he couldn't get on the field.
There's no space for him to play.
This dude is on his second NFL contract. He couldn't get on an Ohio State field, dude. That's unbelievable.
So the rest of the clues that I would have given you were he tore his ACL in his final game of college football. That was in a playoff game.
That's a big
I remember
tell.
it was against
Big
Cincinnati.
Tell. I remember that game.
The next clue was he's cousins with Rams running back Kyron Williams. That's a little fun fact about him. They're first cousins.
That's
they
awesome.
share a grandmother, I believe. He was drafted 12th overall by the Lions in 2022.
Oh, that's
and the last clue was
he
he is Jameson Williams. So